organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, it's move-out time. The University of Iowa and Hawks Ridge have ended their agreement. How will it affect student residents?
And the political race has unofficially begun. Find out which politicians were showing their face in Iowa this weekend.
And in sports, bowl eligibility, Big Ten championship games, and so much more.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Good evening, I'm Brad Maxwell.
And I'm Rebecca Hager.
Some students will be packing their things and moving out of their beloved Hawks Ridge. The University of Iowa has decided to end their lease with Hawks Ridge by the end of the May 2014 academic year. Daily Iowan TV reporter Tiara Simpson tells us how it affects students living there.
When University of Iowa junior Chloe Robertson discovered she could live in Hawks Ridge during the school year, she thought she found an alternative to living in the residence hall.
One of my friends lived here, and she always invited me over, so I got to see it for what it was, and I fell in love with it because I was in a single in Burge, and it was probably smaller than this living room.
Although the university has had a lease with Hawks Ridge for 4 years, officials suggest the space is no longer needed.
We have vacancies in the residence halls currently, and so we felt that we could fill those spaces with students who currently live in Hawks Ridge and get out of the lease agreement that we have with them, which costs us over $1 million a year.
The University of Iowa residents at Hawks Ridge were notified about the change via email, leaving some students flustered about what to do in the future. After living in Hawks Ridge, Judge Brooks can't imagine going back to the residence hall.
It's like once you leave the residence hall and you get a taste of apartment life, you don't really want to go back.
Although students can continue to live in Hawks Ridge, many students have begun their search for other living arrangements.
I'm in the process of looking for an off-campus apartment because it's just too expensive to stay in Hawks Ridge.
Officials have offered students several alternatives to living in Hawks Ridge, including moving into the residence hall, finding off-campus housing, or living in one of their other leased properties, including Centerstone, Dubuque House, and Bloomington House. Tiara Simpson, Daily Iowan TV.
Students walking to class tomorrow might see a new edition of the Pentacrest, an edition of nearly 6,000 flags, that is. In honor of tomorrow's celebration of Veterans Day, 5,050 flags are laid out in the shape of an eye in front of the old Capitol. Each flag is dedicated to a U.S. military veteran who is in some way connected to the University of Iowa. The flags are just the beginning of Veterans Day celebration here at the UI. Stay with us tomorrow for coverage of Veterans Day events.
Iowa's corn production is expected to hit 2.2 billion bushels, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. That's 1.2% higher than the last estimate in September. The estimate is following a tough season with too much rain in the spring and too much heat in the summer. But even with the tough weather, the forecast puts Iowa at #1 in corn production nationally.
University alums are making a difference around the world. Marcelo Mena Carrasco, along with a team of other Iowa alums, is working to improve air quality in Santiago, Chile. He developed a pollution forecasting model for the city, which is also his home. On Friday, he received the International Impact Award from President Sally Mason. Mena Carrasco has a master's degree from the UI College of Engineering.
It's never too early for a political race, particularly for Iowa. Thursday, Texas Governor Rick Perry met with Iowa business leaders. On Saturday, former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin and U.S. Senator Mike Lee spoke at a fundraiser. And coming up, Mike Huckabee, former governor for Arkansas, will come to Des Moines on Thursday. There are just over 1,000 days until the next presidential election.
Governor Branstad will announce a new job plan Tuesday with the goal of attracting more military veterans to Iowa. According to representatives with the National Guard, the initiative will be called Home Base Iowa. Branstad's key goal is to add 200,000 jobs by 2016. Coming up next, winter blues. The clocks are set back and the sun goes down early, but how does that affect your mood?
And an out-of-the-box superhero, how Marvel Comics is using diversity to save the day.
And in sports, all the scores from this afternoon in the world of Hawkeye athletics.
But first, let's take a look at the 6-day forecast. Megan?
Thanks, Rebecca. Unfortunately, snow is a possibility in this week's forecast. Starting off with tomorrow, in the morning, the high will reach 45 degrees with a 20% chance for rain. However, moving into the afternoon, that chance for rain will change into a chance of snow, with the temperature dropping to 34. And in the evening, that temp remains in the low 30s with partly cloudy skies. Now, checking out the extended forecast, Tuesday looks to be sunny and a high of 32 degrees and a low of 19. Wednesday, that high increases to 39 with the sun still sticking around. Thursday, the temp should be about the same. However, there is a 40% chance for snow again. Moving into next weekend, we should see partly cloudy skies both Friday and Saturday, with the temperature remaining in the high 40s and low 50s. So make sure to be prepared because snow could be coming soon. That's all I have here. Brad and Rebecca, back to you.
Thanks, Megan. Since the time change, it just seems like there aren't enough hours in the day. Days are getting shorter and the sun is setting earlier. Our medical reporter Mary LaPlaca tells us why we may feel more stressed during the winter and what we can do to ease the pain.
Many people enjoy the changing color of leaves and the cool winter air, but the idea of time going backwards and the days being shorter is sometimes an anxiety attack waiting to happen. It's called seasonal affective disorder. With the stress of school, work, and lack of sunlight, this can make some people more depressed than usual.
Due, and so there's a lot of stress, but then also with the days getting shorter, that does affect mood. It doesn't affect everyone, but some students are certainly affected by the fact that there's a little bit less light, which affects brain function and mood and activity level. And just the notion of feeling a little cooped up and not being able to get out as much certainly influences mood and can affect anxiety and depressive symptoms.
There are plenty of ways students can get help without counseling services, starting with the building right here. The UI Recreational Center offers healthy food and exercise to help boost your mood. Or going out with friends downtown and getting a little fresh air will help ease the stress. Mary LaPlaca, Daily Iowan TV.
UCS is willing to take students at any time. Just call or walk in to set up an appointment.
And now what's happening beyond Iowa. The U.S. is offering aid to the Philippines after one of the most powerful typhoons ever recorded. The U.S. Agency for International Development is making $100,000 available for health, care, clean water, and sanitation. The death toll has climbed into the thousands, with at least 10,000 dead in just one city, the capital of Tacloban. And we had so much going on, a crazy weekend of Hawkeye sports, so...
Yep, we did a big win in Purdue for the football team, and Big Ten tournament runs for both soccer and field hockey.
And for everything black and gold, we'll now toss it over to Danny Payne in the studio with more. Danny?
Thanks, guys. Danny Payne coming to you from the Daily Iowan TV Sports Studio. And what a weekend of Hawkeye sports we have to recap for you tonight. The Cinderella runs for both Ron Rainey's soccer squad and Tracy Grisbaum's Fieldhawks, and in disappointing fashion this afternoon. Grisbaum and company dropped their matchup with the Spartans this afternoon 3-2 after jumping out to a 2-goal lead in the first half. Natalie Cafone and Kelsey Mitchells with the goals for the black and gold in this one. The impressive run on the pitch for the Iowa women's soccer team ended just a few hours later, dropping their Big Ten championship to Nebraska 1-0. Better news on the hardwood today, though. Bluder's Bunch picked up a 97-93 overtime victory over 14th-ranked Dayton Sunday afternoon to add to their season-opening 70-56 win over UC Riverside on Friday night. Men's basketball also taking care of business over the weekend, downing UNC Wilmington 82-39 on Friday night behind double-digit performances from newcomers Peter Jock and Jared Uthoff. Nebraska-Omaha did give the black and gold all they could handle Sunday afternoon, but the Hawks did manage to grind out an 83-75 win, improving to 2-0 on the year. Also on tap tonight, how about some football? After a miserable 2012, Kirk's crew is going back to the pigskin promised land. Our own Kevin Glick and Jordan Cabielis were in West Lafayette for all the action and have all the highlights and analysis. Guys?
Veterans Day weekend in West Lafayette as the Hawkeyes travel to Purdue to take on the Boilermakers. Jake Rudock and company trying once again to become bowl eligible, while Purdue just 1-7 on the season. We'll pick this one up in the second quarter. 1st and 10 from the Iowa 36 when Jake Rudock finds Don Shumpert for 34 yards down to the Purdue 30. Then on 1st and goal from the 2, Jordan Canzeri brings it into the end zone to put Iowa up 7-0. He would have a big one on Saturday for the black and gold. And plenty of Hawkeye faithful in attendance taking advantage of those 25-cent tickets. Then following drive for Purdue, 4th and 10, they'll punt it away, but Cavante Martin-Manley will fumble the fair catch attempt, and the Boilermakers will recover. It's been a while since Purdue has scored a touchdown in the red zone until this. Danny Etling finds Kurt Freytag to knot it up at 7, but Iowa would respond. Jake Rudock finding Cavante Martin-Manley for 22 yards on 3rd and 7 to put the Hawkeyes up 14-7 as we go to the break. Now, let's go third quarter. Purdue with the ball. 1st and 10 for the Iowa 37. Raheem Mostert rushes for 8 yards, but he fumbles the ball, and the Hawkeyes recover. Sets up this 3rd and 1 from the Purdue 4. Mark Weisman thundering into the end zone to put Iowa on top 21-7. Now in the fourth quarter, Jordan Canzeri adding to his big day, 18 yards here on 1st and 10. Sets up this 1st and goal from the 3. Jake Rudock rolls out and finds Jake Duze for the touchdown. It's 31-7 Hawkeyes. Purdue fans disappointed. Iowa players excited, but wait, there's more. CJ Beathard in the game now. 3rd and 1 from the 5, and he'll take it himself into the end zone to make it 38-7 Hawkeyes. Purdue would add one more touchdown before it's all said and done, but it doesn't matter. The Hawkeyes are going bowling. They return to a bowl game for the first time since 2011. 38-14, your final in West Lafayette. Jordan Canzeri with a big day, 165 yards on the ground, a career high. Now, for more in-depth coverage of the game, let's send it over to Kevin Glick.
Iowa's playing some winter football again after becoming bowl eligible after last season's 4-8 disappointment, and after averaging under 100 rushing yards in their last 4 games, Iowa clinched their return to postseason play by doing what made them successful earlier on this year, pounding the football. The Hawkeyes rushed for 318 yards on Saturday, and a majority of it wasn't picked up by the usual tandem of Mark Weisman and David Bullock. It was Jordan Canzeri who did the most damage on the ground. Canzeri averaged 8.3 yards on 20 carries for a grand total of 163 yards and a touchdown. Those 163 yards were only 12 yards short of what the sophomore had coming into the game all season.
It's just a great feeling just for, one, just being able to have a game that I did for my team definitely helped out a lot, and it does just help me personally just to know that I took advantage of when my name was called.
I ran tough, from where I was standing, and saw things pretty well. I'm sure maybe he missed one or two, but it looked like he saw things well. And we got confidence in all 4 of the guys, we really do.
In the 6 games Iowa has won, the black and gold have averaged 245 yards rushing per game as opposed to 116 yards per game in games lost. So maintaining a strong ground game is going to be key if the Hawks want to improve their bowl standing. Iowa back bowling once again, but the team still has business left on their schedule with Michigan and Nebraska looming. Mark Weisman told me the team doesn't just set out to win 6 games in the season, but want to finish the year strong with 7 or 8 wins after their bye week this week. Signing off from Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette, Indiana, Kevin Glick, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today, but be sure to tune back in tomorrow for everything black and gold. Brad, Rebecca, back to you guys at the desk.
For you comic book fanatics out there, we have a store for you. Marvel Comics is introducing a new superhero.
Yep, she's a 16-year-old Muslim American girl named Kamala Khan. Marvel Comics, want to cater to the growing diversity of its readers.
The character is a polymorph, which means she can lengthen her arms and legs and change shape. Kamala Khan will make her debut in January.
I don't know about you, but I think if I was a superhero, I'd want to fly.
But flying is so overrated. We have Superman, Batman can kind of fly. I think I just have to tell the news perfectly every night.
Tell the news perfectly.
Superhero, right?
All right. Well, only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek into tomorrow's pages of the Daily Iowan.
A drug rise in Iowa City. Read about why marijuana is becoming more popular.
And no women leaders? Iowa is ranked last in the number of women's leadership roles. Daily Iowan digs deeper.
That's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out the same time tomorrow or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.